Hi everyone, I'm Esther Hwang. I'm the Product Strategy Manager at Smarter Grid Solutions, and I'm here today to talk to you about different DERMS cases in the United States, specifically about peak shaving and feeder load management. So just a quick overview on Smarter Grid Solutions. We are a distributed energy resource management system software provider, so a DERMS provider. Essentially, our software allows energy companies to monitor and control their DER devices in their portfolio and integrate them into their grids and markets. So Smarter Grid Solutions' mission is to provide software that optimizes distributed energy in a successful transmission to an economic zero-carbon electricity system. A few years ago, SGS was acquired by Mitsubishi Electric. We are headquartered in the UK, and we are based in New York, Texas, and California. So just to go into a little bit more detail on our products. So we have four different products in our product line. StrataGrid is our flagship product, or utility DERMS product here at SGS. We have over a decade of experience helping customers manage and control their DERs in a cost-effective and reliable way. StrataGrid contains a real-time automation engine and patented algorithms that address many of the challenges faced by distribution utilities with models and data. Next, we have our Cirrus Flex, which is our fleet DERMS product. This is typically used by owners and operators of DER assets. Usually it's for an aggregator or aggregator DERMS. Its primary functions are to aggregate, to forecast, optimize, and to dispatch, providing flexibilities to utilities or to markets. We also have our Strata Resilience product, which is our microgrid DERMS. It's a microgrid management software, and this is a product delivering resiliency and DER optimization functions for utilities and communities and critical energy users. And then finally, we have our edge components, which are Element Grid and Element Flex. These standardize the integration of utility scale front-of-the-meter assets and provide fail-to-safe functions for critical grid applications. So we have a few product videos regarding demand-side management to share with you today. For this first video, we are going to show the peak shaving capabilities of our utility DERMS product, StrataGrid.
Smarter Grid Solutions, SGS, is a leading global provider of distributed energy resource management systems, known as DERMS, the technology that enables power distribution utilities and distributed energy resource DER operators to meet clean energy goals. Electric grid operators throughout the world are experiencing an increasingly complex mix of new decentralized power generation and clean energy resources. These changes require additional monitoring, control, and other advanced functionality beyond the scope of typical ADMS control systems. In this video, we focus on the peak shaving capabilities of StrataGrid, SGS's utility DERMS software. It's an especially hot day, and operators are closely monitoring weather, forecasted load, and current grid conditions. Load will likely exceed system capacity today. The control room operators will use StrataGrid to forecast and mitigate the peak load, as opposed to simply cutting off power to customers. The operator uses this display, updated in real time, to determine when to initiate a demand response event. In this display, the operator can see the forecasted load, along with the available DER flexibility. In this case, the measured load is lower than the forecasted load, so an event can be started later than was originally anticipated. The operator initiates an event by specifying target threshold, buffer amount, and expected duration, along with a strategy for DER participation. StrataGrid will bring DERs online and give them set points as needed to ensure the measured load remains beneath the threshold value. The buffer value is used to provide enough notice and ramp time to bring resources online. The operator can also dynamically add and remove resource groups from participation before starting the event. StrataGrid has pre-configurable rules for defining the order in which DERs and groups participate in an event. On the load monitoring page, we can see in the graph that the measured load was kept beneath the threshold once the operator initiated the event. We can also see how much of the forecasted load flexibility was used during this event. It's possible to see a tabular view of the event, as well as detail on how individual DERs performed during the event. While this event was shown as manually initiated by an operator, StrataGrid can also automate and optimize the same behavior.
Okay, so just to recap the video, our product StrataGrid allows our customers to manage their expected peak by utilizing day-ahead load forecasting to understand when and how severe their peak load will be. Active resource management of these controllable devices and enabling groups of devices allows customers to manage and reduce an anticipated system peak. Okay, in this next video, we will show feeder load management capabilities of StrataGrid.
Smarter Grid Solutions, SGS, is a leading global provider of distributed energy resource management systems, known as DERMS, the technology that enables power distribution utilities and distributed energy resource DER operators to meet clean energy goals. Electric grid operators throughout the world are experiencing an increasingly complex mix of new decentralized power generation and clean energy resources. These changes require additional monitoring, control, and other advanced functionality beyond the scope of typical ADMS control systems. In this video, we focus on feeder load management capabilities of StrataGrid, SGS's utility DERMS software. Here, we demonstrate manual responses to a potential feeder overload. In operation, the response would often be automated due to the need for fast response to potentially multiple affected feeders. The control room operator gets a notification that capacity has exceeded an alarm threshold for a feeder. This screen is the StrataGrid event display. Events and notifications can also be sent to the ADMS, EMS, SCADA over an industrial standard communication protocol or by email. From the display, the operator navigates to the feeder via the corresponding substation one-line diagram for context. From the one-line diagram display, the operator drills down to a real-time trend graph showing the current feeder loading versus threshold. The operator then initiates a load reduction event for the feeder, specifying a max threshold and buffer value. This is nearly identical to a system-wide peak shaving event, but targeted at a specific feeder. In our real-time monitoring, we can see in the graph that the feeder load was kept beneath the feeder rating after the start of the event. StrataGrid manages DERs automatically once the initial instruction is set, bringing them online and giving them set points as needed to ensure the feeder load is kept beneath the threshold. Automation of this functionality is either managed directly by StrataGrid's automatic load management application or invoked via an API from the utility ADMS. All direct management of DERs occurs within the StrataGrid software.
So our platform allows customers to forecast their feeder constraints, and this helps to determine where these constraints are happening and how severe they are, essentially, to understand what's going on in your network. And based on these constraints, the system can determine what DERs to deploy to reduce that feeder load that you've identified and interface with any behind-the-meter resources as well. Users can also review past events by looking at past data retroactively to understand different trends and mitigation tactics to relieve their feeder constraints. Lastly, I want to take this opportunity to formally announce the partnership between Smarter Grid Solutions and Generac. Generac's Concerto platform will be offered as an integrated module of SGS's StrataGrid utility DERMS platform to coordinate responses from DER aggregators. This system extends SGS's ability to support customers in aggregating and coordinating across DER and demand response programs by rapidly expanding the portfolio of pre-integrated DER program providers. This will also allow for the visibility and forecasting of DER availability into the control room, as well as enable dynamic grouping of assets from disparate programs and targeted locational responses as a one-stop shop. The SGS and Generac collaboration will allow utilities to generate operational and economic value in both distribution optimization and distributed asset control. We also have demos in conjunction with Generac. You can feel free to stop by our booth on the other side in order to catch a demo with any of us. Okay, thank you so much, and I'll now open it up for any questions.